Welcome. Today we're going to get into grasping the bird's tail, ward off right. We're going to have a lot of mirrored practice because I'm still dealing with a shoulder injury. Hopefully this helps you learn this movement. So let's get started. So grasping the bird's tail is the quintessential Yang style Tai Chi movement. Grasping the bird's tail is actually made up of 4 individual movements called ward off left, ward off right, roll back, press, and push. I say 4 because ward offs we kind of count together because most of the time when we do this movement, we're just going to see ward off right, roll back, press, and push. Okay? So once we get into our ward off right, the great news is that from here, we're actually not going to change our footwork. So after we learn this transition, for the next few sessions, there's no footwork. How exciting is that? All right. So let's talk about the arms first. Okay. We start with our punch. Remember with our punch position, it's a vertical fist. It's in line with the right side of your body. And we have our left palm sitting up, facing the forearm with some space between the forearm and our palm. Okay. So the first thing we're going to learn is our ward off arm. It's also seen in wave hands like clouds. So from here, we're going to rotate our arm and we're going to press out, thinking about using the back of our forearm. Okay, so we're going to come from our sitting up palm and we're going to rotate into ward off. Now, when we do our ward off, make sure that your wrist is in line and not bent too much. Okay, nice position with our elbow dropping down. Okay, so from seated, check, make sure you have a good starting position. Okay, connect out. Okay, pretty simple, right? All right, now for the right hand. We have our fist. Our fist is going to come and sit down at a diagonal position. So what is diagonal? Okay, we have vertical, which we see in our punch. We have facing down, which we see where? Turn body and chop with fist. Now turn it in between. Okay? This is diagonal. So it's 45 degrees. Okay? It's actually going to be seated a little bit. So you're going to have a little bit of a bend in the wrist as it is 45 degrees. So we go from sitting up with a vertical fist and we're going to come down and sit at 45 degrees. About lower rib level to give you kind of a gauge, okay? The big thing is how they interact, okay? So to put it together, we have our palm sitting up and our fist, okay? One's going to press out, the other's going to come and sit down. So we have some space between them. Okay, and everything's going to be happening where? In front of the body. And the little thing to note is even though we're just doing the arms, we still want to include our waist turning. Okay, so we start completely straight. We're to the straight direction. We just did our punch. As we connect out and our fist goes diagonal, we're going to open up a little bit. Now, the final position, it'll be easy to know if we're in the right position once we add the legs here because we actually have elbow and knee in line. So let's just add the little bit of transition footwork here so that we can check to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success. So we start with the left leg forward from parry, block, and punch. That left palm is facing. Now, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to turn our waist and connect out, okay? But what we're also going to do is we're going to shift back a little bit of weight, and then we're going to turn our foot open to the corner. So in the final position, your elbow and knee should be in line. Your left foot is open to the corner, ready for your next bow stance. Our elbow sinking down and our fist is diagonal. Okay, let's do it again. From here, all we're doing is we're shifting a little bit of weight back. We're turning on that left heel and opening it to the corner as we connect out. Simple as that, okay? Again, ready? Open and connect. We're only adding that for footwork today, okay? We're only adding that because we want to make sure we set up in the right position for the rest of the movement, okay? So that's just teaching us what our connection point is with our elbow and knee in line to make sure that this arm is in the right starting position, okay? Let's talk about the rest of ward off right. So we start with our fist diagonal. We have that left arm in ward off. We're dropping the left arm, okay? Keep your armpit open. Drop your fingers down. Kind of should feel like wave hands like clouds. We have that space under our arm, okay? Now we're going to bend that right elbow and turn your palm to the sky. So we have about 90 degrees here. Wrist is in line with the forearm. And from here, we're just going to hinge up. So from our diagonal fist, okay, we're going to drop our fingers down. Armpit comes open. We're going to bend. And then you're going to hinge up. I'm not going to go all the way up right now, okay? That shoulder is really aggravated. So let me mirror you. All right, this is the best way anyway. From our diagonal fist. Sorry guys, I gotta be so careful with this shoulder right now. So from our diagonal fist, first thing we do is we drop our fingers and we're keeping our armpit open, okay? We're gonna bend our elbows so our palm goes to the sky. Make sure here, really important, the energy point is the center of our forearm. So we just want to have a natural alignment with our wrist. Everything's going to be nice and straight. We're going to avoid this, okay? Now from here, you're just going to hinge it up. So this movement, the energy comes from hinging up, okay? And something we want to be really aware of when we're doing this is that as we hinge up, it's not coming from our elbow and causing our shoulder to come up, that we're going to leave our elbow sinking down so that in the final posture, the elbow is actually a little bit lower than our wrist, okay? Remember the 10 principles of practice. One of them is being elbow down, shoulder down. Okay, so we always want to keep everything sinking down so the energy comes to the middle body. So again, diagonal fist, okay? We're going to open up those fingers, armpit open, bend, and then hinge up, okay? Making sure shoulders still down, elbows down, wrist is actually lower than your shoulder here, okay? One more time. From here, open up those fingers, bend so that you're setting up, and we'll say close and step. This is our close, okay? We're closing that arm, and then we hinge up. So from the normal direction, I want to talk about the left arm, okay? And we're going to mirror in just a moment, but I want you to see it from the normal direction first, okay? From here, we're actually just doing this, okay? We're just turning our palm over to show grabbing, but it's going to look like a lot more because we're going to be turning. So again, it's this illusion over camera that we're just doing this, but it looks like a lot more because we're going to turn our waist, okay? So can you find the meaning of grabbing? Now, what is this similar to? Wave hands like clouds, okay? Connect, turn to show grabbing. The difference is now we're going to bring it back to center and we're going to press down a little bit, okay? So as we hinge up with the right arm, we're going to press down with the left. So the meaning might help you understand. Remember, this is ward off. This is connecting out to your opponent, right? So we're connecting here. The meaning is turn to grab. So when you connect to someone's punch, you're going to be connecting around this point. So once you've connected, you can then turn to grab their arm. But now you're out here. So we have to bring it back to center before we can control their wrist and bring their elbow over the center of our forearm. So the meaning is controlling someone's elbow like this. Okay, that's the meaning of this movement. Okay, so best way to learn is mirrored, right, over camera. So we're going to start in our ward off position. Okay, we have that left arm warding off. So remember, it's just turning, but we're going to be turning our waist too. So we're turning our waist too. Then you're going to come back to your center position. So the action happens in your center line. Then we're going to press down a little bit. Now, how do we know where that pressing down is going to? It's actually going to be 1 fist distance. So if you had a third hand, you could put a fist right here, okay? 1 fist distance between them. And the fingertips are going to point to the forearm center because remember, we're grabbing a wrist and there's an elbow here. So that gives us the approximate space, okay? So it's going to be up and down. But for right now, we want to think when we press down about chest level-ish, okay? So from our ward off position, use your waist, turn to show grabbing. Okay, now come back to center with that arm. Then press down. Okay, one of the big things about this movement is when we do the arms, just watch. When we do this turn and we come back to center, I want you to be very far out here, okay? Because we're actually thinking martial art. We want to keep that punch away from our body, right? Like we're not going to let someone's punch come in this close to us. We want to keep it out here, okay? So when we do this transition, we're going to keep it out here so then we can go up and down together, okay? So when we do that left arm, when I'm mirroring you, make sure that you have a great turn to show grabbing, and when you come back to center that your arm is still reaching out. Now you can press down that little bit. That's it, okay? That's how we do it. All right, let's just keep it mirrored right now from our punch. So we have our right fist and our left palm. Okay, from here we're going to connect out. So we have our ward off arm and our diagonal fist. Now putting them together, our timing is we're going to turn to grab and we're going to open our right fingers. Now close the arms. So that means we're closing to our center point. That means that right arm is bent 90 degrees and our left arm is reaching out. Then we're going to press down as we hinge the right arm up. Final position, fingertips point to the center of your forearm. Not too much space between it. Make sure those fingertips are close enough or 1 fist distance and our elbow is dropped down with our palm turned to the sky. Okay, let's do it a bunch. So right fist, left palm, connect out, diagonal fist. Show grabbing as you let your other hand open. Close the arm. So bring one hand to center and bend the right arm. Now up and down together. Okay, check. How'd you do? Okay, now let's talk about our waist and how this plays a role in the final posture, okay? Because again, when we reach the final posture, the final posture is actually going to have our elbow and knee in line again. But how do we achieve that? We want the action happening in front of our body so that our arm is actually straight and our torso is open to the side, okay? So when we do this movement, we start perfectly straight, right? So if you bend into your knees a little bit, it gives you a little bit more waist turning, right? We start straight. What happens when we connect out? We're going to turn a little bit. Now, we're going to turn. Okay? We're going to close the arms. Now in the final position, we're going to be open to the side a little bit. If you're to straight, one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to have your arms really crunched in, or if your arms are in the right position, they're going to be off to the side. Okay? So we want to make sure that we're open to not really the corner, less than corner, but still open to the side direction so that our right arm can be straight in front of us where that action is happening. So we start from straight, okay? We're going to turn and then turn back, okay? So let's do it again, okay? From our punch. First, ward off with your diagonal fist. Next, show grabbing as you open up your right fingers. Now, close the arms. So close to center. Make sure that left arm is still reaching out and your right arm has a nice bend. And then make sure in the final position, still open, armpits open, torso's open, actions in front with the waist turning, okay? Waist turning for this movement is open to the right as we connect and ward off. Go to straight as we show grabbing. Now, turn to your left as we close. Then we go up and down together, and we're staying open to that little bit less than corner. Okay? So let's practice the whole thing from prepare into our transition, and then we're just going to do the arms. Okay? We'll take a little step and we'll just do the arms. Let's do it feet together. Final practice in. Fingertips brush the sides of your thighs. Head lifting up, shoulders down. Let's separate the feet. Step shoulder width apart. Settle in, and then let those arms slowly float up. Shoulder height, shoulder width. Upper arms go down, forearms, and then palms. Okay, drop the right fingers. Bring that right arm up. You're deciding your height right now as you sink down and you turn. Keep the knees bent as you step. Palms face you for wave, hands like clouds. Step to shoulder height, shoulder width. Make your hook, single whip. Stepping wider, palm push. Okay, fist under elbow. Open up your hook. Pull down as you step in. Make your fist, lift, punch, and touch with the heel. White crane, open up your fist, close the arms, change to the ball of the foot, and then spread your wings. Brush knee. Look at your right palm. Up and down, go together, and then they switch. And you step wider. Clear off that table, right hand to the shoulder, and push. Reach out, step in, pull back, up and down with the arms for hands strum the lute. High pat on horse, left palm to the sky, right to the earth, change to the ball of your foot and strike throat level. Step wider, thrust palm, left arm reaches out, right hand comes underneath. Turn body and chop with fist, protect your head as you turn on your left heel. Make your fist when you relax your right foot. Step out. Touch with the whole foot and chop, and then weight moves forward, palm strike. Parry, block, and punch. Connect out with that right arm. Deflect down, use the elbows. Step, parry as the weight moves forward. Left arm and leg go together, and then we punch. Okay, shift back. Ward off as you have your diagonal fist. Step in for a moment. Show your grab as you open up your right fingers. Close the arms. Bend that right elbow, left arm stays out. Now up and down with the arms, go together. Ward off, right. So close. Remember, next we're going to learn the footwork, and then we're sticking with that footwork for the next 3 sessions after that. We're almost there. We're getting so close. It's really exciting. Because once you have this form, you can practice it anywhere, anytime. It's a lifetime thing. Once you've learned it, if you practice it once a day, you will never lose it. And it takes less than 5 minutes to do once a day, right? So no excuses. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Remember, if you find value in this content, like, comment, subscribe, and you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and my website, ladytaichi.com. Remember, still recovering from an injury here, so doing my best to help keep bringing you new content while I'm still dealing with a lot of pain. So I hope you enjoyed today's session, and let me know how you're feeling about the whole form.